small rules from basketball. Score from the blue line, 2 points. Score from your own red line, 3 goals.
I did think of this for a while. I did think, actually...
So if you're trailing by 2,
yes,
we've not got time to score 2. Let's just get some shots in from the blue line and hope the netminder doesn't catch it.
And that puts so much pressure on the netminder, because the netminder knows, oh, crap, this is coming in from that zone. I can't fluff it. I've just got to focus on it. Because, when you've got 2 goals, the goalie can be like, well, you know what? If I fluff one, everything's fine. Nothing's on fire. But, it's a long way out, and it's a bouncer. Oh, I think that'd be quite interesting. How you would play that, I think, would also be quite interesting too. All right, Jonathan, it's my hypothetical. I make no secret of the fact that I'm a wrestling fan. In the world of professional wrestling, there's something called Money in the Bank. It means that at any point, a wrestler can cash in his money in the bank and go for a world title shot. It adds an immense amount of drama. If he wins, it's amazing. If he loses, what an idiot. Why did he waste it? And I thought of something very similar for hockey. What if all the teams in the EIHL had something called a joker, and they could play that joker once a season, up until the moment of face-off? They can play the joker, and suddenly all points in that game are doubled. What does it look like?
What, even if you lose, it's double points?
Yes.
To the opposition?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Right. That is good fun. So, there's a few places that'll do, play your joker for double points. But if you don't win, you still get nothing. But to actually get negative 4 points, as the opposition skates away with double points, okay, that does add some trepidation. Well, it's dead easy for the team at the top of the league, because you're going to pick a home game against the weakest team. Now, you're not necessarily going to save it for the end of the season, because all points count equally whether you get them in September, October, or February or March. So 4 points is 4 points. So the idea of, we'll save it for later in the season, it'll be worth more. No, it'll be worth 4 points. So you'll just use it at the point at which you see the opposition is down at the bottom of the league, has picked up a couple of injuries, or maybe they've got to ice the backup netminder for whatever reason. Whatever you think is your easiest home game, you may as well play it well then. There's no point using it against one of your rivals at the top, because you only stand to give them an extra leg up. So it's an easy decision for the teams at the top of the league. It's an awful decision for teams at the bottom of the league, because you can't use it against the teams that are around you in the table, because yes, they might be your easiest home games, but if you lose it, they're climbing the table and off into the distance. You're not going to catch them anymore. Yeah. So you've sort of got to pick a team that you think you can beat, but you're not in direct competition with. You've also got to manage... Oh, I don't think you'd pick it for an away game.
No?
No, because no hockey team wins on the road more often than they win at home.
That's true.
There is a home advantage in hockey. It's quantifiable. We can measure it. But if you've got to pick a team that also isn't going to be massively offended by the fact that you've chosen to play against them.
Surely every team is going to be massively offended. The moment, especially if you did it right before face-off, you get this kind of wonderful moment where the coach waves over the referee, has a word in his ear, referee nods, goes over to the timekeeper's bench, and all you hear is, "Hockey fans, the home team has decided to play its joker." The fans go up, the opposition will be livid, the away fans start going. Suddenly that game's just hype.
Oh, hang on. The home team has played its joker. So, hang on. The visiting coach is waving his hands. Yeah, we're going to play ours as well.
Oh my God.
This game's for 8 points.
Double.
Double up.
The only thing I think you'd
have
to
change...
change...
So the 4 is double to 8.
The only thing I think you'd have to change is, if you don't play your joker and you lose, then you just lose. I think you should only have that risk if you're the ones playing the joker, because that could really hammer some teams at the bottom if not only do they lose, but they also lose minus 2 points.
Oh no, they wouldn't get minus points.
Yeah.
But let's say you're one of the teams in the playoff hunt at the moment. You're not going to pick a team around you, because suddenly if you lose that game, they're not 2 points ahead of you, they're 4 points ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's so difficult to catch.
You've
got to play it against one of the teams higher up. You can't afford the risk of giving your rivals not just, we've lost to them and we're 2 points further behind, but to be 4 points further behind. That's a nightmare.
Would you have to make it a rule that you had to play your Joker? And maybe make it a rule that you had to play it before a certain day? Because then what you have is end of the day season silly buggers, you know?
No, I don't think you have to do that, but if you haven't played it by game 60 of the season, you have to use it in your 60th game. So it just is inputted by default. Obviously, that might be your plan. It might be that you don't need it. But what team goes through the season thinking, you know what, actually, we probably don't need these 2 extra points?
That's true.
Surely at some point every season, a team's going to benefit from the psychological boost of, if we win this game, we can go above them, we can get the right side of the playoff line, we can be top of the league if we win this. You know, and I know they've got games in hand and stuff, but just being top, it's better to have the points on the board. You know, there'd be some teams that would do that. I also think there'd be some teams that, under the pressure of it, might play bad games.
That's true. Like some teams just don't handle that kind of big pressure. And then, you know, I mean, I imagine the coach would have words beforehand. He wouldn't just bring it on to the players. But then it's how they protect. Oh, I think it's going to be they're going to play their Joker this week. Oh, is that right? Right. Well, then it kind of changes your mentality, and it kind of might even change your approach to the game.
But also think about the aspect of the teams who aren't playing in those games when you have seen your team play and maybe you've won or you've lost, and you check in on Flash Scores or the Elite League website and you find out, how did our rivals get on? Oh, they won. Oh, and they played the Joker. That's going to be a real moment, isn't it, when you find out that not only has your rivals won a must-win game, but they've got double the points for it. That's going to be a killer.
How much is it? Go on.
Yeah, I was also going to point out that the situation that you've got with playing your Joker and riling up the opposition, it doesn't really work in the Challenge Cup where you can pick your quarter-final opponents. I don't really think the 8th ranked team in the competition gets too taken aback when they get selected first. We all know what the league table looks like. But what we also know is that if this rule had been in place this season, Milton Keynes would have a lot more points and Dundee would have a lot more points, because a lot of teams would have said, yep, Dundee at home, MK at home, we'll play our Joker, and they'll get turned over because it's happened to them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's now a massive bonus for the teams at the bottom. You're not just playing for the potential 120 points every season, because you're probably going to get a Joker used against you a couple of times. There's a real chance that you can get a little bit more out of this.
How much does it change if you get rid of the risk aversion part of it? So how much does it change if you say you can play your Joker, and if you lose, you lose? The opposition still gets the 4 points, but you get 0.
Oh yeah, that would be what it is, I think. I think it would just be none for you, but it's the extra 2 points you're gifting to a rival that's near you.
Yeah.
I don't think you could take points off teams, although that's an interesting hypothetical we might have to discover sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's just, if it's Coventry against Manchester, one team's the right side of the playoff line, the other team's the wrong side, and Manchester use their Joker, and they lose, and suddenly Coventry are disappearing off into the distance, and Manchester's playoff hopes are getting fainter and fainter. That's a terrible decision to use your Joker.
And here's a couple of issues on that as well, because then you've got, the coach who uses the Joker and then fails, the coach who uses the Joker and then succeeds, the coach who used the Joker early on in the season and then gets sacked, and then the new coach takes over and can't use it, or a coach trying to use it to save his job. It becomes a very much... The coaches, therefore, I think, have much more of a say in how the game goes.
Yeah, you could use that selfishly, couldn't you, as a coach? But what you can also do is use it as a general manager. Ticket sales haven't gone well for this particular game. Right, put out in the press that we're using our Joker.
Oh, wow,
folks,
yeah.
This game is twice as important.
Yeah.
Get yourself down here. We need you more than ever.
Do you think it has a bigger impact if you do it moments before face-off, or do you think that's how it would end up being used? It would be the thing where we circle a team and say, that's when we're playing it.
Well, I love the Money in the Bank style drama that you talk about with, oh, hang on, the coach has called the referee across to the bench, and now he's going across to the timekeeper. What's this all about? Is it a roster problem? No, it's the Joker. Wow, what a great moment that would be. But also, just the build-up from a few days out of, this is our Joker game, everybody. I think that would be terrific as well.
Thing is, I know how every club in the world would use this. You'd go, right, lads, this is our Joker game. Big hype. Get 5,000 or 6,000 people in the building, or however big you can get in your arena, and in the last moment go, actually, I think we'll save it. Well, you're all here now. Let's have a good game of hockey.
I don't think that's a great PR move. I mean, you might need to do that if your goalie does his groin in during warm-up or something.
Yeah.
Then you have the right to withdraw it. You don't officially have to inform the referee until game time. But from a goodwill perspective, I don't think general managers and coaches are going to mess their fans around quite like that. That's it for another episode. If you have any comments about the issues we discussed or suggestions for future hypotheticals, then tweet us at HockeyHypo and make sure you leave us a comment and a rating wherever you're listening from. On behalf of Stephen Dowson, this is Jonathan Fernley saying goodbye.